Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about EVs and or green energy stocks. This sector just popped off following some very exciting price action from Lucid Motors, along with some promising news coming out of the Biden administration regarding heightened tax credits for every U.S. electric vehicle sold. You guys know we love EVs and green energy around these parts, so I'm always pumped to see this type of price action. I'm even more pumped to see some of this volatility turning into actual upside momentum. Makes things a little easier to read, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about what's going on right now, some of the price action we saw this week, but more importantly, where I see some of my favorite names in the sector going from here in terms of price action. All right, so let's quickly go over the rundown, and then we'll dive on in. In front of us is TradingView, where we'll discuss technicals and price targets on the following names today in this order, going to the watch list. You can see right here on the right, kicking it off, of course, with the big winner of the day, LCID, or Lucid Motors. Just made their first delivery, which is why we will be covering this article right here. We'll cover that after we go over the rest of the list. After Lucid, we will move on to Blink Charging. If you guys have been tuned in over the past couple of months, you know that Blink has one of the most potentially bullish setups I've almost ever seen in my years of trading, and you guys will understand why that is as we get into it. I do think Blink is the sleeping giant within the sector from both a fundamental and technical perspective, and again, I'll explain more why that is as we dive into the charts. After Blink Charging, or BLNK, we will move into WKHS, or Workhorse. Workhorse really seeing a big jump today. At one point during the day, up about 10%. This is as of Thursday, okay? So I will be releasing this. You guys will probably see this on Friday. So it will be very interesting to see what happens here. Workhorse, on top of seeing such a staggering correction over the course of the year, and the fact that EVs are looking good right now, there's a lot of positive sentiment around the EV sector, is also a pretty prime short squeeze candidate in that realm as well, okay? And the kind of the short squeeze degenerate sector, which I do find myself in sometimes, and it's perfectly okay if you find yourself there as well sometimes. But Workhorse looking very appealing, and also acting has potential to act as somewhat of a hedge, which makes me like it that much more. So we'll cover Workhorse, and then we'll close it out with the big dog, the $1 trillion whale. That is Tesla, the king of the market, what Bitcoin is to crypto, Tesla is to EVs. So if we're talking EVs, we can't not talk Tesla. We'll close it out with TSLA on the charts. Freaking, this thing's insane, okay? So those are the names we're going to be discussing in terms of articles before we dive in. So we'll kick it off with this article. We'll read through this article first. We'll just read through some key points. We don't have much to talk about here, but shares of EV startup Lucid surge as much as 47% after confirming deliveries of its first car. So we'll just read over the key points, you guys. This like, if you guys watched my solo Lucid analysis I posted probably close to 6 months ago, honestly, I covered this in detail. I covered the Lucid Air. We took a look at the website and whatnot. This car is freaking beautiful. They are targeting the luxury market, which is always something, an aspect that Lucid has had on its side that makes me hyper bullish on this. I've always been bullish on Lucid. I'm now hyper bullish on it. I do think objectively the valuation is whack. Okay, I was just talking to someone in my Discord about this. Objectively, a $60 billion valuation for a single delivery, you cannot rationally justify that, but it's 2021. No one cares about PE ratio. I did for a long time, and that's how I got, and it took me nowhere. So no one cares about PE ratio. Everyone's looking way into the future, and that's okay, but you just have to adapt to the times, okay? So don't get mad at me for saying this is overvalued. If you say it's properly valued, then, you know, maybe you're right, because I don't even know how to define valuation anymore. It's definitely not price to earnings ratio. But anyway, Lucid is just a hype play right now. It's going parabolic. It's got the hype. It's got the volume. And that's what makes up a successful trade, once again, in 2021. So Lucid, as a company, very cool. The cars are beautiful, and the technicals look great. So it's a story stock with great technicals. That's what, once again, comprises a solid trade in this market environment, which, again, even if you don't agree with, that's the reality of the environment, once again. Okay, so we'll read through this. After reading through these key points, we'll dive into Lucid, and then we'll read over this quick article touching on kind of some of the, you know what, we'll just read over this and then read over this because it's only like a few sentences, and then we'll just dive into the charts and then close it out on the charts. Just stick to strictly technicals for the remainder of the video. All right, before we dive into all the meat of it, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you're excited about Lucid, if you're excited about any of the plays we're talking about. If not, if you don't like any of these plays, let me know in the comments down below which EV or green energy stock you're the most excited about right now, what you have the biggest baggie of, okay? Again, look forward to talking to you guys, hearing what you have to say in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this. Of course, I'm not only excited about EVs right now. Like, I'm excited about a lot of small caps. You guys, hyper growth sectors, EVs, green energy, crypto. I'm so excited about these going into the holiday season, because holidays are historically better for these risk-on sectors of the market, which we're seeing right now. Again, this volatility that we've seen lately is turning into actual upside momentum, and I do think that will carry through to the rest of the season, the holiday season. All right, and again, I'm super pumped on freaking Bitcoin, Ethereum just breaking new all-time highs. I'm super excited about Bitcoin miners, places like Coinbase and stuff. So if you want to know exactly how I'm personally trading and going to be trading plays, all the plays we're going to be talking about today, Lucid, Blink, Workhorse, Tesla, along with every other position in my entire personal portfolio, exactly how I'm positioning myself, exactly which calls I have, which puts I have, which cryptocurrencies I have, everything, which I do update every single trading day during market hours. And then with every update, I also send out a complimentary email newsletter explaining my thoughts, rationalizing my trades, and telling you guys why I'm trading the way I'm trading, along with some real-time price targets and just takes on the market during, once again, actual market hours. That is going to be the first link down below. 15 bucks a month or 40 bones for every 3 months. I think it's very worth it, but again, I'm very biased for this. So again, you guys, I recommend you check it out. If you don't like it, that's fine, just unsubscribe. But I do my best to make this worth your hard-earned money. And once again, that's the first link down below. Appreciate it if you check that out. If not, no worries at all. Let's dive into the meat of the video. Again, we'll dive in. We'll just close it out on the charts, but let's quickly read over some of these key points in a few sentences right, all right? Just get the fundamentals based, that fundamental base layer set. All right, so key points. Shares of Lucid surged by as much as 47% during trading Thursday, a day after the company confirmed first customer deliveries of its $170,000 AirDream Edition sedan would begin Saturday. Lucid stock hit $40 a share, its highest point since the company went public through a SPAC deal on July 26, before retreating Thursday afternoon. The deliveries come about a month after Lucid started production of its first cars for customers at its new factory in Casa Grande, Arizona. All right, again, just look at that freaking, that's a beautiful car. Expensive, a little pricey, a little steep, but a beautiful car. Again, they're targeting luxury, and in this world where the wealth gap is just becoming way more gapped, unfortunately, fortunately, whichever side you fall on, again, create your own destiny. Lucid is in a good place to target that luxury demographic, all right? So from a technical perspective, Lucid is breaking out. Talked about this in the newsletter this morning. This is crazy, you guys. So I haven't covered Lucid for a while. I've held a position in Lucid for a very long time, and so I was just pumped to see the portfolio just pop today off a position that I honestly wasn't super just paying a whole lot of attention to, if I'm being completely honest. But I drew this intersection months ago. Like, I would say I drew this intersection probably around here in late July. So it's been months since I drew these, and we were just a few days away. So this intersection came. So it's these two trend lines, previous support, resistance on this previous channel right here, confirmed as new resistance right here. Beautiful trend line, beautiful setup, along with the closing of the bottom side of this massive gap that will come into play when I talk about these upside price targets. I do think, I should say, I'm already talking about upside price targets, but it's crazy how close this was, you guys. This came to an intersection on October 25th. It is October 28th at the time of recording, so it's just crazy. Again, I talked about this in the newsletter, but I do say it in videos pretty frequently. You've probably heard me say it before, but a lot of times, you guys, the technicals have a very weird and almost meta, almost ethereal way of catching up with the fundamentals, okay? So sometimes when technicals play out, again, like Bitcoin, I've seen this happen so many times in Bitcoin, just these stick figure trend lines. It doesn't look like something's going to happen. It doesn't look like you're going to strike this by any means. But then something happens. Something just happens to happen from a fundamental perspective that shoots the stock up and gets those price targets achieved, even when like a couple of days earlier it didn't seem possible. So that just happens sometimes. 100% luck, 100% happenstance, but just a testament to how meta everything is. Just posted that metaverse video. Go check that out if you haven't watched already. But Lucid, in terms of upside price potential, I do think this gap will come into play. Again, this line right here is the bottom side of this massive gap from the high that Lucid saw back in February of this year, when pretty much every hypergrowth sector, every hypergrowth name in the market was running. Good old Riot and Mara, just freaking ripping days, which are kind of coming back, especially Riot. Stay tuned for that one. But I do think that this gap will be closed. The top side of this gap is technically right here at about $55. And keep in mind, you guys, this was pre-merger, so Lucid wasn't even Lucid at this point. Lucid was I can't remember what SPAC this was, what acquisition company this was, but it was whatever SPAC this was prior to being LCID, and the valuation was also extremely different around here as well. So technicals are weirder right now for this stock. Like it can close this gap, and traders are likely to play this gap, just fill the gap right here. But the fundamentals regarding the technicals are completely different than they were back here. So again, we're kind of in blue sky territory from a technical perspective. Maybe we come up to test this trend line again. That's probably why, if you extend these trend lines right here, that's likely why we actually saw Lucid kind of like test this area and then turn back, because traders are keeping an eye on these trend lines right here. But again, you guys, I do think that there's a lot of hype. You can see this. This is like the most insane volume spike that Lucid's ever seen. What's the volume right here? So Lucid's volume is, I mean, yeah, its average volume is 63 mil. The volume we just saw was at 377 mil. So, I mean, that's a crazy multi. That's not like a over 5x volume spike, which is crazy. And again, market cap just under $60 billion. That's probably my barometer for Lucid's absolute upside. So $60 billion, they just made their first delivery. Granted, they have a lot of tech advantages. They have like the distance advantage on Tesla, which they just proved like a month or so ago. But you cannot justify a $60 billion valuation no matter how much. I mean, Ford just ripped Ford's around a $60 billion valuation, okay? So Tesla is a $1 trillion company. Again, valuations are whack. Tesla's PE ratio, I've been talking about this forever, is like freaking 1,000, especially after right now. So it's important to take that into account to some extent. I mean, if you're a value investor, which no one is in 2021, again, that's okay. You just got to adapt to the times. That doesn't really make any sense. But again, this is a story stock environment. People are betting on the fact that like Tesla's valuation, if you were to justify Tesla's current $1 trillion plus valuation on actual revenue, you would have to assume that they're creating the first colony on Mars, okay, or that SpaceX falls under the Tesla shield at some point in time, which could very well happen. I wouldn't be surprised. Elon is one of the best, the greatest operators of our generation, of maybe of all human, of like the entire human race to ever exist. So I wouldn't be surprised. But again, that's just to say, going on kind of a rant here, but just to say that valuations don't really matter. It's all about the story, and it's all about the hype and momentum, okay? Which Lucid right now has, following this volume and this massive spike of almost 50%. Anyway, Lucid, again, from a technical perspective, we are in blue sky territory, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this gap come into play. If we do fill this gap, let's do the bottom side of this gap just to be a little more conservative. If we reach the bottom side of this gap, if Lucid does continue to run over the rest of the year of 2021, I do think that we could see a 50+% move up. Again, we just saw about 50% today, and it's not exciting to say that we could only see another 50%, but it just doesn't make sense to me for Lucid to see $1 billion valuation. I would say I wouldn't be surprised to see $1 billion valuation, but I do think that's that will come into play as kind of a resistance, okay? So again, when you're in blue sky territory, this applies to a lot of things in the market, almost every asset. If you're in blue sky territory, kind of like Bitcoin and Ethereum are right now, that they've reached new all-time highs, market cap is usually a good gauge. So $100 billion is a very, very psychological even when it comes to market cap, and that will likely act as a ceiling for many traders and investors once that $100 billion mark is achieved in terms of market cap, okay? So that's Lucid. Again, just spitting some of my thoughts here as we take a look at the charts. Again, I'm sorry that I don't have, I'm not super confident on the technicals right now. They just don't look, nothing's really, aside from, again, we're in a crazy market environment, you guys. Just keep it on market cap, just keep it on whatever you can. But I'm not going to say anything with like a crazy amount of confidence, okay? Aside from Blink, because this looks freaking amazing, okay? So Blink, if you guys have been tuning in, did technically just break out of probably the biggest bull flag that I've ever seen in my career. You guys know bull flags. A bull flag is my favorite pattern in the technical trading game, okay? Bull flag, parabolic move up followed by a descending triangle. This is like the most textbook bull flag I've ever seen. and it just broke out just the other day. Okay, or just this morning, actually, once again. It broke out, went back into the tip of the bull flag, then almost from the very tip of this bull flag, this massive, massive, big old Bula flag just broke out today on this move up we saw. Okay, so again, parabolic move up, flagpole. The flag itself is this descending triangle. We see it base out multiple times over here, creating this very, very solid support. So it does not make sense to me at this point for Blink to fall below this level. Again, we broke out so perfectly of this tip. It's crazy to see how long this thing has been in play. You can say from this breakout, it's been about a year. So just under a year from the point of breakout. You could say a year if you count back here. Almost exactly a year since Blink broke out. And it'd be crazy to see this pattern repeat itself exactly a year later. Okay, so my money's on it. If you guys are part of the portfolio newsletter, you would know that I am heavily bagged up with Blink. And I'm very excited to see what happens from a short-term perspective now that we've broken out. We have very significant support here in the cyan, a line of resistance on the bull flag on the descending triangle. We have reclaimed the short-term ascending channel right here following this breakout. And I do think very short-term, we can come up to it by the first of the month, which is going to be pretty much tomorrow and and Monday in terms of trading sessions. I think we can see at least a double-digit move up, 10-11% up. But I do think that Blink, and I will be including this in my top 3 stocks of October video, I do think Blink from current levels can see at least a 50% move to the upside to test this area over here. And if things go really crazy, which I don't doubt the fact that this can happen at all, if things really go ballistic, again, Blink is kind of a sleeping giant. Once traders realize the technical pattern and kind of the momentum that's starting to come back into Blink, I do think earnings are going to go well for Blink as well. Those are on November 19th. I think there's just so many stars aligning and so many tailwinds in favor of Blink right now, and I do think that we can at least come up to about $45, which represents 50% of upside from here. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if especially if earnings go well, that we do see new all-time highs reached, and even to match Blink's previous high back in February or January of this year, of 2021, that would be over 2x from here, or about 120% of upside. And again, maybe we even go to reach new all-time highs. Okay, so that's Blink. Very, very bullish on Blink. Actually, I want that back. Let's put that back there for future newsletters. But move on to Workhorse, and then we'll close it out with a big boy. So Workhorse, again, pretty simple, has seen like the most staggering correction in the sector. Been covering Workhorse for a long time, you guys, since the janky trading view days. We've come a long way. Anyway, Workhorse was one time at a high in February of this year at $42. Has since seen, let's get a price range on this. This is crazy correction. So down here has corrected about 87% since the high I saw in February, which is staggering. But right now, again, you guys, although there has been a lot, again, Workhorse was supposed to have some like crazy contract with USPS that fell through. There's some sketchy play on with shares in Ride or Lordstown Motors. But again, Workhorse has the momentum of the EV sector on its back. It's been doing good over the past few trading sessions, including today, again, Thursday the 28th. It has that short squeeze potential, so it almost acts as a hedge on top of catching the momentum, the upside momentum from just the EV rally that we're seeing. So it's a double-edged sword in a sense. And I do think that at the very, very least, Workhorse can come up here to match this previous high. That would be around $8.50. Get the price range here. So from here to here would be 22% to the upside. But honestly, I think it's very likely that Workhorse does see like a nice little winter rally, again, holiday season rally, and comes and tests this previous area of support and new resistance. Support, resistance over here, support, gap fill right there. I do think it's very likely that we come up here, which would represent about 75% of upside from current levels at just under $7 to just above $12. Okay, so again, you guys, this is just speculation, but because Workhorse has gotten so smoked, Workhorse is sitting at sub-billion-dollar valuation. Again, large caps, Apple and Amazon just crap the bed when it comes to earnings. So there's going to be a lot of capital outflow from blue chips, from big caps, and that capital will want to find a home. And again, small caps that are ripping, like cryptos, like EVs, like green energy, all the ones we've been talking about, or the 2 videos I just made today. Again, crypto, last one, this one, EVs, green energy, in my opinion, are the perfect candidates with all of the fundamentals going on. There's so many freaking stars aligning for these 2 sectors. And I'm just so confident in the fact that capital outflow from those blue chips will flow into these, once again, more promising sectors of the market that are just freaking mooning. Okay, so again, I'm speaking very confidently. I'm very confident about that. But always remember, you guys, I could be completely wrong. So just keep that in mind as well. You can be mad at me, though, because I'm speaking with a pretty high level of confidence right now. Tesla, close it out with the big dog. Tesla is in straight up blue sky territory again. You guys broke the $1 trillion market cap. And I mean, since it broke the $1 trillion market cap, it has put on a cool $82 billion. So just think about that, you guys. Just after breaking the $1 trillion market cap, which is 1,000 billion. It's 1,000 billion. Okay, a trillion is 1,000 billion. Just after breaking the $1 trillion market cap, Tesla put on over one Lucid. So the market cap of Lucid, the market cap of all these put together, or 82 workhorses. They stacked on 82 workhorses after breaking $1 trillion. Okay, so again, that's just to say how freaking crazy valuations are. Like, what is even money anymore? But again, you guys, we're in blue sky territory right now. I have nothing to say about this chart. I don't know where this thing's gonna go. But I do think that we will see a pretty significant pullback at some point, if I'm being honest. I know a lot of you don't like to hear that, but it makes perfect sense to me now that I'm just looking at this from, okay, I'm calling this right now. Boom, that lines up too perfectly. I'm going to say that because these line up beautifully. Wow. Christmas miracle, huh? Kick off the new year with not a bang. So by the new year, by 2022, Tesla will pull back. Maybe we rip up further, but I do think Tesla will see a pretty stark pullback by exactly 2022, by January 2022, because this is a very significant line of support and resistance. And it also coincides with Tesla's previous high that we set back in January of this year, once again at $900. I'm calling a $900 Tesla as we kick off 2022. But again, who knows how high we could go prior to there. Anyway, you guys, we'll call it there. We just had to cover Tesla. Again, I love Elon Musk, one of the most influential and important, I will say important. I have no hesitance in saying that. One of the most important individuals to ever walk this earth. And I'm very excited to see what Tesla does and what all these stocks do, once again, as we go into the holiday season. So let me know down below what of these plays is your personal favorite. Again, if there was something, if you like ChargePoint, if you like Helion, I personally like both of those. If you like any other EV stock, any other green energy stock, whatever. If you want to talk about crypto stocks, drop that down below as well. But just talk about whatever you guys want in the comments. Always love your guys' opinion and insight. So I'll catch you guys downstairs. If you're still watching, I appreciate you, and I appreciate it if you give the video a like. If for some reason you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And once again, I'll see you downstairs in the comments. So until next time, you guys, have a great weekend. Also, if you want the Sunday Stock Watch, the exclusive Sunday Stock Watch, that is part of the newsletter as well. I will be making a video on Friday this time around, but usually don't post videos on Fridays. So from Friday to Sunday, no public YouTube content. I do record the Sunday Stock Watch, but that is a private video, and I send out the private link to the newsletter group. And yeah, just the cherry on top if you're interested. Okay, so again, you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys next week. Exciting times ahead. Until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.